Hey, what's up guys? Jerome here from the Bonsai Supply, and today I wanted to show you how I achieve small leaves on my Sea Hibiscus tiliacus, but also how do I maintain the leaves to stay that size. Alright, so this is my cascading Sea Hibiscus that I've had in my collection for about 5 to 6 years. And the irregular leaf size is quite large, but you can shrink this type of leaf down very quickly to about this. So as you can see here in the comparison, the larger leaf is not even a regular size leaf. It's already been reduced a little bit. And then you see the leaf next to it. So that leaf is about the size of a quarter, and I can actually maintain the leaves on my tree that size. So I can shrink the leaves down from the larger size to the smaller size in just about one growing season. So it happens very quickly. So now, how do I go about shrinking down leaves and how do I maintain them, right? So number one, there's got to be a few things in place on my tree before I even think about reducing the leaf size. It is also important to note that not all trees can have their leaves reduced this drastically. However, most leaves you can reduce. The one thing that you cannot reduce on your bonsai tree are either fruits or flowers. Alright, so there's a few things that you have to keep in mind before you even think about shrinking down the leaves on your bonsai tree. So number one, you have to make sure that your tree is very healthy. That goes without saying, I think. You have to make sure that your tree is super healthy, and that's number one. Number two, you want to make sure that your main branches are in place. The main branches are the branches that come directly from the trunk. So those branches have to be in place. Then the secondary branches, which are the branches that come from the main branches, also have to be in place. And last but not least, you have to have the tertiary branches, which are the branches, the final branches that come from the secondary branches. Now, all of these branches have to be in place before you even think about reducing the leaves. Now, the reason why you have to have these three branches in place before you even think about shrinking down the leaves is actually quite simple. The leaves are like solar panels on the tree. That's one way to think about them. They power the tree. So if you only have the main branches in place, the leaves have to be much larger because there's not a lot of leaves, so they have to be larger to power the tree. Once you get more branches, the leaves can automatically come back smaller and smaller and smaller because they don't have to be that large anymore to power the tree because there's so many of them. So once I get all of these branches in place, the main branches, the secondary and the tertiary branches, what I like to do is I like to go through the tree and just remove the larger leaves. So I just go through, and every time I see larger leaves pop out, I just remove those. So like this one over here, I remove the large leaf, and now since I have removed this large leaf, more light can come into the canopy, and that section where I removed that large leaf, two smaller ones will come back about half the size of this original one, which is really nice. And that's how you can actually maintain your leaves to stay small, by always removing the larger leaves. Now if you look at this Sea Hibiscus right now, it looks a little bit out of shape and overgrown, and as you can see, some of the leaves are larger. Now I should have gone through here a week ago and actually removed the larger leaves. However, when I reduce the leaves and when I have the tree at this stage in training, what I like to do in the middle of the summer, I like to come in here and remove all the leaves. Give the tree a full defoliation. And the reason why I do that is so that I can see the entire structure of the tree, because the tree is naked, right? And tropical trees don't lose their leaves in the fall. So that's why I have to do it manually in the summertime to see the structure. But also, when you remove the leaves, the tree balances itself out a little better in terms of growth. So it redistributes the growth more evenly throughout the tree. Also, when you defoliate, you get a lot more branches back from within the canopy, which helps me to create a really, really fine ramified tree. And also over time, of course, bringing back more branches each time I defoliate. What does that mean? More branches equals smaller leaves. So that's how I can get the smaller leaves, right? By defoliating and by getting a lot of branches That's how I naturally can shrink the leaves, but then I can maintain them and continue to shrink them further by always removing the larger leaves, giving the tree a full defoliation once a year, and then just continue by removing the larger leaves. Very simple, right? So what's the first step that we have to do? We have to go ahead and defoliate this tree. So let's get to work. Alright, so now that the tree is fully defoliated, you get to appreciate the structure and the silhouette much more of the tree. So now, as you can see, there's a lot of green shoots that come out about 1 inch to 2 inches too far out of the canopy. So what I have to do now is go through the entire tree and remove these straight sections, cut back to where the movement stops, and also I'm going to replace thicker branches with thinner branches, which will then give me much finer ramification. And so, just to emphasize on this, I only defoliate a tree at this level once a year in the summertime for tropical trees. Alright, so now that the tree is trimmed back into shape, you can see that it is really well ramified already. Now, something to keep in mind though is that once you defoliate a tree and it starts to come back again with leaves, the leaves will be much larger. So we have to make sure that we let the new growth extend out a little bit and then start to remove the larger leaves to shrink those down again, right? But this is a necessary step to do. So now, next up, I have to go ahead and repot this tree, because this tree is in a very small sweet pot actually that was made by Rob over on Tycho Earth. And as you can see, the roots are already coming out the bottom. So I repotted this tree about a year ago, and I have to repot it every single year because it fills out the pot so fast. So let's get to work on that and start to repot the tree. Alright, so now that I've repotted the tree, I'm going to go ahead and thoroughly water this tree and then put it right back out into full sun. And now with most tropical trees, after the foliating and repotting, you can put them right out into full sun. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video and learned a little bit more about how to reduce the leaves, but also how to maintain them small. And if you have any questions, please comment below in the comment sections. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. I am Jerome, and I'll catch you guys next time.